Good morning, everybody. It's Marty, the JavaScript party, and my buddy Rhett. There's an almond for her. It is Monday morning, the 8th of June, 8:48. And it's actually pretty cool here, which is funny because I don't know what the temperature is. It's probably like in the yeah, like 70 degrees, and then it'd probably be a high of like 80 something today. And that's very cool for this time of year. Normally we are like in 100 degrees Fahrenheit and it's very, very humid. And apparently like a lot of the World Cup people from Europe are like having a really rough time with how hot it is here, and it's not very hot right now. Um, but anyways, we are working forward. Yesterday we figured out that we had missed some stuff in Mesh that would have come and broken us in the future. And then what's even worse is that well, not worse, but what was very impactful was the fact that like I was like kind of going back and forth whether I should sort of take the code that I'm sort of boilerplating and turn it into like a separate function that or a separate set of code that is abstracted away, and make it like a little bit less custom. And that would have been good. That my main problem with that is that like I just don't have a good feel for what the future of this is going to be like, like if there's going to be a lot of changes, if things are going to be unique or not, and then if that abstraction is just going to make things almost impossible to reason. But the thing was like I missed a whole bunch of pieces of the puzzle in Mesh. So now, that doesn't happen when you do an abstraction, right? All the pieces are always there. So I don't know. I don't know what to think. But I do think I'm going to stay the course, and so we are going to start on renders. And the renderer does, in fact, have a public render dictionary. So I think, and then we do this, and then we have a publish. I believe, do we have a publish? We have not built out our publish function yet. So let's go ahead and do that. Let's go find how we did publish over here. And honestly, I would love to just kind of rewrite it from scratch just for my mind, just for the practice. But the problem is that um, when you do a publish, or I want consistency, which is another huge advantage to abstracting things, I guess, is that things do stay consistent. Um, it's a tough one. I'm in a tough spot right now. With this whole section, for example, I really went back and forth on whether I should call it like all these services three camera service, three, so that there were three. And then I kind of went against it. I decided I wanted a little bit more customness to it, and then I ended up regretting that. Or not a little less. I wanted it to be a little bit like, okay, because I'm not saying anything, it must be three. I think that was a mistake. I think I should have named it three. And the honest reason is because I do think that um, it would be easier to reason about the code when I'm down in the weeds. Oh, okay, where am I? What am I doing? Oh, okay, I'm in render. I'm at the published render dictionary. If I was just in published dictionary, like if I had abstracted it out at a published dictionary and all of that, then I'll probably it'd be harder when I'm in the weeds to figure it out, and that's when things are at their weirdest. So I'm guessing this is probably render dictionary. Render. I guess I called it dict up in, I don't know. That was weird. Okay. So that's right. That feels good. And then now this is very, um, that is extremely generic, right? I just call it a hash promise and then public mesh dictionary. And this should probably be renderer. And then this should be render dict. And then what am I doing? Renderers dict. And then that, and then, okay. Why is this not an error? This public mesh dictionary hash. Did I miss? I must not have. Okay. Render. And then that's where, like, if you just sometimes you'll see that, like, if you work um in an enterprise, you'll see that like something's just named completely wrong. Um, you got to fix that the second you see it. If you don't fix that the second you see it, it's just going to get worse and worse and worse. Like all the different things will start to depend on that flaw, and you don't want that. Um, and then basically all the good work you did is gone. I mean, like, I made all these decisions. I'm not going to do this. I'm not going to do that because I want it to be more easier to come up to speed when I'm in there. And then if I have the wrong name in there, I've lost all of that, and I have, and I violated the dry principles. That's like the worst of all worlds. All right, so it looks like we do. Well, first thing, it looks like we need the three. We want to call it three render service. And this is the renderer service. Hope I call it renderer service. I might have called it renderers service. And then inject. What? Oh, okay. It's just upset renderer service. Okay, let's look. It might be renderers service. Actually, it looks like it knows this though right here. All right. So it was renderer service. So over here, I decided to call it three, and then so we want to do something very similar to this, where we listen to these things. So I could just copy and paste these comments. These are all the things that I do effects on. This should be three renderer service. Three renderer service. And then it looks like the first thing I do is these hashes. And I know that I have a very high chance of um, having a misspelling up there in the comments, since it doesn't really um, like, it doesn't check comments to make sure that you spelled it right, which, that's not a criticism at all. I think that makes sense. Control V. Okay, so I did what? Okay, so that was the wrong render dictionary. So let's go fix that. And it is so worth fixing that kind of thing. And then down here, did I do the same thing? I did the same thing over here. So let's go ahead and try to fix that here. Render dictionary. And so now we want to actually get the whole render dictionary. So that's what this signal does. And what's really nice is it actually does get the latest value when you do this. So that is awesome. It doesn't have, like, you never know what's happening behind the scenes with Angular, right? Like, they could be doing all kinds of stuff. So, um, so, um, it could be using some reference that it already has or something like that. But no, it looks like it goes and gets a fresh copy. All right, now we want to create a row, a renderer row. And that is a three table record, and it is a renderer, and then 3 mesh renderer dictionary. Let's save it, just make sure nothing is broken, and then add it to this thing here. Renderer, boom, booyah. And now we have our renderer row. Let's just refresh because I don't know, just because habit, really more than anything else. And there's our render. And these are the things, the programs. I was wondering, what was I wondering? I was wondering if you could see the animations, but it doesn't look like it. There's a lot of crazy stuff. The render is probably the most mysterious one of all of them to me. All right, so the theory, the question I had before was, okay, so if I come over here and I delete it and then I hit back and it's gone. Okay, so that was good. So that's already done. Render is done. Now we'll move on to scene next. Scene is the last one. Then we'll go to unit testing, finish up unit testing, go to end-to-end testing. During the end-to-end testing process, we're going to remove these assignments here, which I tested in another project of mine yesterday, and it didn't. I don't think it's a problem, but I definitely want to remove all those assignments if I don't need them, and then check it in. And I think we're all the way back out of this delete rabbit hole, and we're back to update, which I don't even know. It's been over a year, so we've been in a rabbit hole for a year, and it's over a year. Anyways, it is 9 o'clock exactly. I got to get to work. Have a wonderful day, everybody. Have a wonderful week. See y'all tomorrow. Bye.